Elections analyst for the Cook Political Report. Dave, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. We're excited about this segment. So what surprised you most about this election?
You know, if you had told me the day before Election Day that Trump would sweep all 7 battleground states and win the popular vote, I wouldn't have been that surprised. That was well within the realm of possibility, as polls were very close and Trump was doing much better in the polls than he was heading into 2020. But I was surprised by elements of how it happened underneath the surface. The fact is that Trump expanded his coalition not only by winning higher shares of working class non-white voters, but also at the highest income end of the spectrum as well. He actually improved his vote share by more in places like Fairfax County, Virginia, and Aspen, Colorado, than he did in some of the stereotypically white working class parts of Pennsylvania, whether it was Erie or places like Wausau, Wisconsin, or Saginaw, Michigan. And then also Trump, he expanded his margin in Texas and Florida close to where his margin ended up being in Kansas. And New Jersey ended up being just about as close as Arizona.
Well, it is so fascinating, Dave, to hear you break it down like that. You've also said that Kamala Harris should get credit for limiting Mr. Trump's gains in the 7 battleground states. Explain what you mean by that.
That's right. And I think it's important to differentiate Harris, the candidate, and some of the deficiencies that have been picked over since Election Day from the Harris campaign. The reality is that the swing towards Trump across the 7 battleground states was 3.1 relative to 4 years ago, whereas the swing in the other 43 states towards Trump was 6.6. And some of that has to do with the fact that Trump made his biggest strides among non-white voters who tend to be more numerous in places like New York, California, Florida, and Texas. But the Harris campaign deserves some credit in terms of its ground operation and its paid communication for limiting Trump's gain, particularly in the context of the swings we've seen against incumbent parties globally.
Let me ask you about something that Steve Kornacki outlined for us yesterday. He outlined why New Jersey may actually provide an early indication of whether President-elect Trump's coalition is holding. What do you make of that? And are there any other races that you think could be bellwethers in the next cycle?
That's true. I'm skeptical Trump's appeal is transferable down ballot. We saw a lot of cases in this election where Democrats outperformed Kamala Harris. And had it not been for the Harris campaign keeping these battleground states as close as they were, keep in mind, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, they were less than 2-point margins, then Democrats would probably be sitting on 43 Senate seats right now rather than 47. And we saw 70,000 voters, for example, in Nevada who voted for Trump but didn't bother voting for Sam Brown, the Republican nominee. And I think that portends trouble for Republicans in 2025, 2026, because Republicans can't necessarily count on Trump fans to come out and vote in large numbers for someone not named Trump.
Dave, we only have about 30 seconds left. If you are a Democrat looking for a silver lining in this election, is there one? I would look down ballot because Democrats have a variety of younger, talented, new generational leaders, whether it is Maxwell Frost or Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, people who span the ideological spectrum, but who overperformed Harris because they can communicate authentically with voters and they know how to use social media to reach them. All right, Dave Wasserman, it is always so fantastic to have your perspective. Thank you.